Would you be able to recognize Romeo Blackman if you saw him? Yes. Alright. If you could, would you look around the courtroom and let us know if you see Romeo Blackman? Yes. Could you point to him and indicate an article of clothing that he's wearing? He has on glasses, like a blue and white striped shirt over there. The record will reflect the in-court identification of the defendant. Did you know an individual by the name of Terrence Smith? Yes. Did you know him as Terrence Smith or by another nickname? I know him as T. Would you be able to recognize T if you saw him again? Yes. Could you look around the courtroom and let us know if you see him? Yes, I see him sitting next to in between the two women over there. He has glasses and dreads with like a gray shirt. The record will reflect the in-court identification of the defendant. Do you also know another individual by the name of Jolicious Terman? Yes. What do you know him as? Jojo. Is Jojo a member of Googie Boss? Yes. Would you be able to recognize Jojo again if you saw him? Yes. Could you please look around the courtroom and let us know if you see Jojo? Yes. He's sitting in the back row over there with the suit on. The record will reflect the in-court identification of the defendant. Mr. Vaughn, I just want to be clear. When you said that Googie Boss, you guys were swimming and hanging out, you were still involved in criminal activity, is that right? Yes. At some point in time, yes. And what is it that you were doing? First, we were selling drugs and stuff. Then this became a time where we was into it with people and we had to go slide and shoot at people and people would come shoot at us. When you say you were selling drugs, was everybody in Googie Boss selling drugs? Some of us. What kind of drugs were being sold? Selling weed and white stuff. When you say white stuff, what do you mean? Like dope or something like that. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Keep your voice up. Like dope or something like that. Okay. I was just going to ask you, are you talking about crack? I believe so. Or are you talking about cocaine? I don't know. It was like powder, so I believe it was, I never sold it. I just always sold weed, so I never really got into it that much. Okay. But I know it's like powder. It's powder? Yes. But you yourself, you sold marijuana. Is that right? Yes. And you sold the marijuana to make money? Yes. Would you share that money with other Googie Boss members? Objection leading. Prior questions were leading, so I'm going to sustain. Ask a question. I will, Your Honor. What, if anything, did you do with that money that you made from selling marijuana? Sometimes we will put money in a pot towards guns and buy more drugs. And sometimes I use some of the money to, when my kids needed stuff, buy them Pampers and clothes and stuff. Now, you said that you guys would go slide on the ops. I think that's the term you use. Is that right? Yes. Could you just explain to us what that means? What does it mean to slide? Basically, the slide is people we are into it with, we go on a block, and if we catch somebody, we'll shoot at them. And would that be anybody that you would shoot at? Or is it just opposing gang members? Can you rephrase that question, please? Sure. You said you'd go on a block and and to slide means to go on a block and shoot at people. Is that right? Yes. Any particular people? Or would you just shoot at anybody on the block? Basically, whoever was out there, if we go down the block, we into it with them, we into it with that block, and whoever was out there, we were shooting at them. Did Googie Boss members carry firearms? Yes. How did Googie Boss members get those firearms, if you know? Basically, we was getting guns from like old men and them. We was getting guns from like the bigger guys from E-Town. Once upon a time, Dell was bringing us back guns. Romeo would bring back guns from out of town. Bamboo would bring guns. Okay. Now, as part of this activity, did Googie Boss have an area that was safe for them? Yes. What area was that? You say what areas or what area? What streets were you safe on? I want to say from 67th to 71st, from, I want to say Morgan to almost Ashland. That area, was that always the area that you guys were safe to walk? Or did it change from time to time? No, it wasn't always the area that was safe, but we made it safe. Could you explain to the members of the jury how it is that you made those areas safe? Yeah, so basically, if we was into it with someone, we go like shoot at them, and we'll continuously shoot at them until like they ran off or something. Or like other people are there, like be selling drugs and stuff like that. And we would just go over there and we would just take over their territory and make it ours. Now, we talked a little bit about Googie Boss. Let's talk about Googie Gang. What is Googie Gang? Googie Gang, so basically Googie Gang is like everybody listen to Romeo, like me, all the shorties. It all became, cause like after a while, like Romeo was putting in so much work, everybody was scared of him. I'm going to object to foundation, Judge. Sustain, lay a foundation. Sure. Let's go back a bit and let's talk about, let's start here. You talked about putting in work. What does it mean to put in work? To put in work is basically like shooting someone, killing someone, making a name for yourself. And a person that puts in work, does that raise their status within a gang? Yes. How do you find out that a person put in work? Can you rephrase that question? Sure. How would you know if an individual put in some work? Because basically they'll brag about it. So they put in the work and then they come back to the other members of the gang and they brag about it? Yes. And is there a way you guys would check to make sure that the person is actually telling the truth? Can you repeat that? Sure. Is there a way that you would check to make sure that the person that put in work and is coming back and telling you about that they're telling you the truth? You saying, is it a way that we check it? Yeah. Do you understand the question? I will phrase it. All right. Thank you, Your Honor. How would you know that somebody actually put in the work that they say they did? Because basically, like, after it's done or whatever, they will come, they will say what they did, and then, like, we'll hear about, like, what happened, and we'll confirm it. How would you hear about what happened? Because after they did it, they will come and tell us, like, what they did, and then, like, everything, the area is small, so people would be talking, and it would get around. And is this common practice within the Goonies for somebody to put in work and then come back and tell you what it is that they did? Yes. So if somebody put in work, Most likely they've told you about it. Objection to leading, Judge. Sustain. Sure. How, if anyway, would you know that a person put in work? They would tell us. Okay. Was Romeo Blackman one of those people that had put in work? Yes. And you know that because he told you. Objection, Judge. Leading. All right, counsel, don't lead. Wait a minute. Sustain. Don't lead. Sure. Pose a question. How do you know that Romeo Blackman put in work? He told me on different occasions. Is Terrence Smith one of the individuals that put in work? T? Yes. How did you know, if any way, that T put in work? He told me on different occasions. JoJo was an individual that put in work? Yes. How do you know that JoJo put in work? He told me when we was locked up. And to be fair, you put in some work too? Yes. And you shot at people? Yes. And you actually have some prior felony convictions too, correct? Counsel, don't lead, okay? Sure. Sustain. Do you have any prior felony convictions? Yes. How many? 2. Do you know what those convictions were for? Yes. Can you tell the members of the jury what you were convicted of? Yes. I was convicted of unlawful use of a weapon in 2012, and I was convicted of attempt UUW in 2017. What, if any, benefits did you receive for that attempted UUW that you just spoke to the jury about? Can you say that one more time? Sure. Did anybody help you with that case, the second case that you spoke about? Yes, I cooperated with CPD. And as part of your cooperation, what did they give you as far as the charge goes? It went from a UUW by a gang member to attempted UUW. And were you also given probation? Yes, I was given 2-year probation. Now, we just spoke about it a little bit. You decided to cooperate with law enforcement, correct? Yes. Why did you decide to do that? I started to cooperate with law enforcement because on July 1st, 2016, while incarcerated, my brother was killed. Another one of my brothers was killed. And what did that propel you to do? At that point, I had a chance to sit down, and think to myself and get myself together and see, was this really the lifestyle I wanted to live? Is this really what I wanted to do with my life? Sorry, go ahead. So I chose to cooperate because I wanted a better living environment for my son and my daughters. When you were first approached by, who were you first approached by? What agencies came to you first to talk about cooperation? I think it was CPD and the FBI. When they first came to talk to you, were you entirely truthful? No, I was not. Why not? Because I was not truthful because I didn't know. I didn't know them from a can of paint, and someone was there visiting me. And what? I said someone was there visiting me that I didn't know. Did you eventually tell law enforcement the entire truth about what you've done? Yes. Did you eventually tell law enforcement the entire truth about Googie Boss and Googie Yang? Yes, I did. And let me take a step back again. Googie Boss, Googie Gang, you consider it separate. Yes. But are they together also? Judge, objection to the leading. Objection. All right. We're going to do a sidebar.